Hi, Michael Kamas here with Key Code Media. We're at the NAB 2025 New York booth, and we're doing interviews with companies and people that, quite frankly, I like. So, who we have with us today on this stream is Ben Ratner of LiveU. Ben, thanks for joining us today. I've got a couple questions for you.
Hit me.
Let's start with the easy ones. Maybe you've been asked this today, but what is LiveU talking about and showing at NAB New York 2025?
Yeah, so if you're not familiar with LiveU, which I know you personally are, but you might not be, it's basically our bread and butter are the bonded cellular encoders. That's what LiveU's been doing forever. So those are basically those cell phone backpacks. They use bonded cellular. They take multiple internet cellular feeds, Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, bond them all together, and give you just a really, really strong pipeline, a reliable pipeline for video transmission. So that's kind of our main thing. We also have literally the brand new, this is the first one I've ever seen and had my hands on, the brand new LiveU 900Q.
And that's not fiberglass, that's real.
No, it's real.
It's real.
It's
okay.
real. But we also, in addition to our encoders, we have a whole ecosystem now. You know, we've got a studio in the cloud. We've got ways to record all of your feeds coming in with API connections, doing a whole lot more with them, scheduling, orchestration. We've got really a whole ecosystem now on top of LiveU.
And what was the stat I read that, 75% of lettered broadcasters out there, LiveU is what their team has in the field. No satellite trucks, just a LiveU box.
Yeah, I'd say, you know, I just before I worked here, I worked at the Fox affiliate in Boston, and we had not used a single satellite feed or a microwave feed my entire time there. It was all on LiveU. So it's so much easier. It's nimble. You just need one person to operate it. It really makes life a lot easier. And even if they're not using this as their main bonded cellular, even though they should be, they've got us because so many people use us for LiveU Matrix. That's where everyone's distributing their feeds. If you're on a local pool, they're using LiveU Matrix for that. So everyone's using LiveU one way or another just because it's so ingrained in the news world.
So there's multiple ways LiveU can be used to get the stream out, right? There's cellular, bonded cellular, Wi-Fi. Is there also wired Ethernet?
Yeah, so we will take whatever internet you can throw at us. You know, we obviously, all you need to use is the cell phone. You could do it on just Wi-Fi if you wanted to, but your backup and your reliability comes from having the multiple different kinds of feeds coming in. So yeah, most people are using a lot of cellular, and then they'll maybe plug in Wi-Fi if they have it available, and they'll plug in an Ethernet if they have that available.
So when it's plugged into the network and it's getting to the cloud, obviously you can do a lot of things once it hits the cloud. So what kind of things is LiveU exposing on your platform to use that footage, and also working with third parties?
Yeah, so obviously your video, just at its core, your video is coming through, and all your audio channels that go through with that. The big new thing with LiveU Ingest is your metadata is going to be a part of your entire process. We call it the story-based workflow. So let's say you're using your NRCS tool, something like iNews for your rundown. You put your story in there, and then LiveU Ingest is going to see that story, and on your LiveU unit or on LiveU Central when you're getting it set up, that's going to see the story. You say, I'm broadcasting to that story. It's going to create a live growing file in LiveU Ingest, and that can go to your MAM, so your media storage. That can go to a software like Trint, so a third party through API integration. Automatically transcribe every single one of your LiveU feeds. So you're out in the field, you don't need to do logging anymore. It just happens. It makes everyone's life a whole lot easier. And that's kind of the whole big thing with LiveU now is we're opening up our ecosystem so wide. We could connect anything API based. So if you have a service that you want to use with LiveU, we can probably hook it into our LiveU Ingest system.
So if we're feeding something live into LiveU, are there third-party AI services that can be used for tagging on the fly?
Yeah, so in theory, using LiveU Ingest, we can hook, if they have an API connection, we can send to them and we can work with them. So we're open to working with anyone who has a way to make your lives easier in the TV world.
So you also mentioned growing files. So if you're working with, let's say, editorial in the cloud, as long as it's landing on storage that is mounted as an editable volume, you could use an NLE to edit as the file is growing.
Exactly. So you can be in live in real time. You could be, let's say, streaming a press conference. You can, just seconds later, it's available in your NLE to edit. So you can chop yourself a clip up and send it out live.
What about, let's talk about kind of another vertical. We talk about content creators, right, whose workflows are, shall we say, a little bit more bespoke than some broadcast ones.
Sure.
Where do you see it being used for the creator economy? Is it being used in place of just streaming from their phone, or how's that being used?
Yeah, so for the IRL streamers, a lot of those big names out there, they're using LiveU. Just again, the same reason that all the news and sports people like using LiveU. so do those live streamers. You could bring, the LiveU 900Q out wherever you are, and it's going to get you pretty much a good, reliable feed. So if you're streaming out in public, that's exactly what you want to be using. And even at home, like if you're just a home streamer, you still want to have that reliable internet. There's only, if you just have one line coming into your house for Ethernet, a dog can eat that telephone pole or something, and you can lose your internet. So if you're relying on good streaming internet, this is the thing you want to be using. And also because you can also use LiveU as an internet source, you could basically take all of those internet feeds we have coming in and use data link and turn it into a Wi-Fi feed or an Ethernet feed. People are using that to transmit their footage or use their computers out in the field when they're not at home. So lots of ways to take advantage.
I think that brings up a real good point, because over the past few years, as IRL folks are doing things from their home, they either don't want to run an Ethernet cable, or they have children they're doing distance learning while their partner is doing a Zoom meeting and their roommate is streaming Netflix. And there's just no bandwidth available, and being able to have something robust as not even a backup, but as your primary, is just, it's a lifesaver when you need that footage and can't afford to lose it.
Oh, absolutely. And even for content creators and everyone else, we have a new technology that we just debuted in the last year called LIQ. So LRT...
I like you?
I know you do, but that's not what we're talking about right now, Michael. It's called LiveU IQ.
IQ, okay.
So just taking a step back, LRT, LiveU Reliable Transmission, that's the bread and butter of what we do. That's where we could bond all of our cellular modems and other internet sources together. It has all the packet forwarding, all the error correction to get it from place to place reliably. LIQ takes that to the next level. So basically, instead of using fixed physical SIM cards, it uses eSIMs. So what does that let us do? We could now dynamically change the providers that are on any of those SIMs at any point. So let's say you're at a major sports stadium for a major sporting event. Everyone there is using Verizon, and the only towers there are AT&T, let's say.
Right.
We'll put more of your LiveU modems over to AT&T because you're going to get much more reliable connection that way. So now, if let's say, one of your providers wasn't good in a certain area, normally you would just not be able to use as much of that feed. Now we turn that into a completely usable feed from another provider.
I think one last question is that I think a lot of folks, when they get into live streaming and get to a critical mass point of needing to go to multiple outlets simultaneously, so they have to look into third parties like Switchboard or any of the others to syndicate their signal to different sources. How is LiveU helping with that kind of part of the equation?
So we got a couple of ways. We have a service called Dynamic Share where you could send to kind of anyone else that's in the LiveU ecosystem. LiveU Matrix is one of the big tools to do that. It's what all the news networks are using basically to send pool feeds out, or they have their 10 feeds that they provide to people. So you're seeing LiveU feeds even if you don't think you're seeing LiveU feeds. And the other thing is in LiveU Studio, which is our full control room in the cloud, you can go to up to 30 destinations streaming. So that's all your major social networks, RTMP, SRT. You could even bring that down to the ground via LRT if you want to get an SDI output. So if you need to go to a lot of places, we can get you there.
Outstanding. Ben, thank you so much for your time. And thank you everyone out there for tuning into this live stream from the Keycode Media booth at NAB New York 2025. As a reminder, we'll be streaming, I think we have one more interview today, plus we have we're done for today, I think. And then tomorrow we have a schedule with several interviews. We hope you tune in. I also want to remind you that if you're looking to incorporate LiveU or looking to upgrade or replace your AV installation or your production gear or your post-production suites, look at the Keycode Media. Not only do we have competitive and sometimes better pricing, but we also offer free consulting for your first meeting. So don't forget to check us out at keycodemedia.com, and we'll see you on the next stream.